What's up, everyone? Welcome to the May 18th edition of FanDuel Tournament Plays presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, you get one free month of Awesemo plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at PrizePicks. Be sure to use the code Awesemo to receive a 100% first deposit bonus up to $100. We have an 8-game MLB slate tonight on FanDuel. It starts at 6:40 Eastern, so keep that in mind. Don't get stuck with dead lineups because you think lock is at 7:05 as usual. There are a couple of extra games on the slate compared to DraftKings starting a little bit earlier, so pay attention to that. And as usual, we're going to take a look at 3 of the top tournament stacks and 3 of the top tournament pitchers on FanDuel using the top stacks and top pitchers tool on Awesemo.com. Starting with the top 3 tournament stacks. Number 3, the New York Mets are taking on Jordan Hicks tonight. He, in previous seasons, was used primarily as a reliever. This year, he's starting. He's had decent results. He struck out about 23.5% of hitters, but he does have a 4.11 xFIP, and he's walked about 13% of hitters. So he does put too many guys on base. The Mets have been well above average offensively this year with a 110 WRC+. Their ISO does leave a bit to be desired at 131, but based on the pedigree of guys in their lineups, I do expect that number to increase going forward. The Mets are projected for 6%. A 6% chance of being the top stack, 5% ownership, and a 6% chance of being the top value stack. Number 2, the Los Angeles Angels are taking on Dane Dunning tonight. Dunning is a pretty solid pitcher. He has a 23.1% strikeout percentage this year, 3.26 xFIP, and the Angels have Shohei Ohtani pitching, so we can't use him as a hitter, but there is still plenty of power in this lineup. Overall, including Ohtani, the Angels have a 119 WRC plus and a 174 ISO this year. Obviously, when you take Ohtani out of the lineup, that waters that down a bit, but there is still plenty of power here. You still have access to Mike Trout. You have Taylor Ward, who's been excellent this year, Anthony Rendon, Jared Walsh, still guys that can get it done. And again, it is only an 8-game slate, so targeting a pitcher like Dunning becomes a little bit more appealing than it normally would be. The Angels are currently projected for 5% ownership with a 7% chance of being the top stack and 4% chance of being the top value stack. And number 1, the Chicago Cubs taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Will Crowe is expected to start for the Pirates. It seems likely that Roansy Contreras will relieve him. Contreras is one of the better pitching prospects in baseball. He's had success in his 3 major league appearances this year. He's had success in the minors. So it's not a great matchup for the Cubs overall, but Locke isn't a very good pitcher, and there is at least volatility with somebody like Contreras, who is still young and unproven at the major league level. The Cubs have a 96 WRC plus so far this season. They're projected for 7% ownership with a 9% chance of being the top scoring stack and a 9% chance of being the top value stack. Now, looking at the top 3 pitchers, number 3, Pablo Lopez, $10,500 price tag, taking on the Washington Nationals tonight. This is one of the early games, so can't get to him on DraftKings, but you can get exposure to him here on FanDuel. He is projected for about 1% ownership with an 8% chance of being the top scoring pitcher, only about a 2% chance of being the top value pitcher at this elevated price tag. He has a 28.4% strikeout percentage and a 2.62 xFIP so far this year. The Nats have a 93 WRC plus, only a 20.1% strikeout percentage, however. So Lopez does look like a spot where we can pay up to be contrarian. Number 2, Shohei Ohtani, $10,100, so $400 less expensive than Lopez, taking on the Texas Rangers, who only have a 91 WRC plus this year. They have a 3.4 implied run total. Ohtani leads the slate with a 35.4% strikeout percentage. He has a 2.04 xFIP. He's projected for 7% ownership with a 9% chance of being the top scoring pitcher and a 4% chance of being the top value pitcher. And number 1, Kevin Gausman, $9,800 price tag, taking on the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners have been an above average offense this year with a 109 WRC plus, but Gausman has struck out 30.9% of hitters. He's only walked 1.1% of hitters, and he has a 2.1 xFIP. The Mariners, like the Rangers, have a 3.4 implied run total. Gausman is projected for 11% ownership with an 11% chance of being the top scoring pitcher and a 5% chance of being the top value pitcher. So to recap, the top 3 tournament stacks on FanDuel: number 3, the New York Mets; number 2, the Los Angeles Angels; number 1, the Chicago Cubs; and the top 3 tournament pitchers: number 3, Pablo Lopez; number 2, Shohei Ohtani; and number 1, Kevin Gausman.